Let me just introduce our guest for the morning. Good morning to you. A number of you who have joined us on our stream. Bruce Falco, I can already see you as well. Emmanuel Party joining us as well. But let me just introduce, representing the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Maudou Bawumia, DMB, it is possible, or the campaign trail on, currently in the US, but also, you know, still making sure the message goes through, is Georgia, you see, currently is the Director of Communication, an active member of the New Patriotic Party as well. He's here as a regular on the show. Georgia, you see, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Roland, and good morning to my colleagues. My brother, he didn't answer the question well, but I still believe he has the red, white, and blue. That is in green there.
Okay, so that brother he's referring to is lawyer Dankwa, lawyer Andrew Apia Dankwa is with the Movement for Change. You know, I was asking whether...
I love your question, yes.
Okay. Movement for Change, good morning to you.
No, pause it.
So I was asking, proud to us coming on air, whether, because he's still a true and true MPP person, but... Is that he cares about now? Is that it?
I'm not a true person anymore. According to what my brother said, I'm a red, yellow, and green with a black star shining brightly.
You're a person.
Let me wish you a good morning. I wish my brother here a good morning. As in, the founder of the movement said, we still believe in the values and ideals of the New Patriotic Party.
The founder of who?
The
movement for change. Alan Tremontaine.
We still believe in those values, and the reason why we are leaving is because we feel that the MPP, as it stands today, have departed from those values.
Fantastic.
So that'll be a discussion for another.
So for the movement for change, the MPP has departed from their core values,
yes,
and you have now. Overtaking.
No, we still.
They are in the belly of the MPP. That's what he's saying. A subset.
And then let me wish my brother Malik a good morning. As in, we've always had very good discussions in time.
Or you've been meeting on other platforms.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
You like my colors?
You look good.
Good.
Malik Basintale is a deputy communication officer for the NDCs right here. Malik is a regular on the show as well. I call him the fireman. Good morning to you, fireman. What were you checking on the phone?
Good morning.
Or you're just sifting through your messages to see who is the latest?
I was late here. I mean, for the first time, I was late in studio. You know, I usually come 30 minutes before.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was late today, and so I just needed to catch up, put myself together, and then get set for the discussion.
Right.
Because today's discussion is really going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Very passionate.
We're talking about the Pwalugu Dam.
Yes.
There's been a call by the minority in Parliament that $12 million has been paid to the or towards the project already, but apparently they paid some visit to the site. It's empty. We covered it. We'll bring you that story as well. And then onwardly, we'll talk about the extension of the limited registration exercise by the EC. We know that on Thursday also, they're going to start that whole exercise of moving, or those who want to cross carpet into other areas to have their names into other registered in other polling areas. So we'll take a look at that as well. And some of you are already on our stream. We say good morning to all of you. Make sure you share the stream and let us know what you think about what we're about to talk about. Shaibu Mohammed, Alex Dodu, Ebo Chemenu, as well as Inshra K, Ofori, and a couple of you as well. Justice Mingle is already joining. I'm a former boss with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation at the time. Nelson Yesu Kofi Akotia, Prince Ahmed is joining us, Cynthia Nati as well. We're grateful. Now, let's bring you that Pwalugu story, the visit by John Jinapo leading the minority team, what they uncovered, and then also why we should be discussing that as part of initial discussions.
The Pwalugu Multipurpose Dam project was estimated at $993 million. It was to address three main issues, namely provision of water for irrigation, generation of electricity, and control of the annual flooding of communities in the Upper East and Northeast regions. The 25,000-hectare irrigation scheme was to boost economic activities in the Upper East and Northeast regions. Government in 2021 paid $11.9 million to Chinese contractor MS Power China for the final payment of the Pwalugu irrigation project, which is yet to commence. The Auditor General, in its report for receipts on foreign exchange payments by the Central Bank for 2021, has cited the Bank of Ghana for the payment with no evidence of work done. The contractor has reportedly abandoned the 3 project sites.
The sun there was at all. There's not even sun on the site. You can't even identify the site.
Apart from some few molded blocks, a trip of sand and chipping stones, nothing is found on the site. Farmers have begun taking over demarcated lands for the project due to the delay in start of the project. Recently, flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia, during his tour of the northern region, admitted that the long delay in the construction of the Pwalugu Multipurpose Dam is as a result of financial constraints. He indicated that a government under his leadership will prioritize the construction of the dam.
The Pwalugu Dam will be a priority. We haven't been able to do it so far, but I believe that we can marshal the financing to do it.
But ranking member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapo, during a visit to one of the project sites at Kurugu, expressed disappointment in government for wasting almost 200 million cedis for no work done.
I can confirm to you that so far, almost $12 million has been paid to the contractor. At today's exchange rate of about 16 cedi, that translates to about 192 million Ghana cedis. And as you can see, nothing, and I mean nothing, is being done yet. This is the taxpayers' money wasted. We visited the site for the contractor, and you can attest, the contractor has packed and left site. Not only has he abandoned the project, the chippings that he brought there, the few blocks that were molded to even construct the site, our information is that those blocks have been sold.
He emphasized the next NDC government will activate every legal means possible to retrieve the monies.
And as it is, Mr. George AEC, what's happening to the project? I know that it's supposed to be how many months by this and should have been completed?
Yes.
Okay. So why do we have the state currently the way it is?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you.
Morning.
And good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my co-panelists, Lawyer Pierre Dankwa and Malik Basintali. Good morning to His Excellency the President and the Vice President, the leader of the NPP going into the 2024 elections. We are very upbeat and confident that with his vision, in the participation of the 4th Industrial Revolution, we are very sure that we'll break the 8 and his vision will be implemented for the forward drive of our nation. Every well-meaning Ghanaian should join this train. It is a victory train. Thank you. Pwalugu Multipurpose Dam project. Roland, this project was actually ideas and co started way back in 1991. Way back in 1991. In 2023, the idea was revisited. Fortunately, under the able leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we took the step to actually commence the project. And that is when, in late 2019, we cut the sword for the commencement of the project. I had the Honorable Member of Parliament saying nothing is done and all that, and the money, my good friend and brother, Honorable John Jinapo, saying, you know, we've just thrown the money away. I disagree. In the first place, he's doing the conversion at today's rate. The projects, those commitments were made in 2020. And so 2020, the rate was around $6. So that is a different matter. I don't want to banter on that. And so, yes, the Member of Parliament and the Honorable John Jinapo knows that any project that is given, you know, That's mobilization to site. And in the process of mobilization to site, some funding is given, okay? Normally 10%, some 15, 20% of project sum or contract sum is given as mobilization. Fortunately, this government decided no, we were going to commit 5% mobilization. You know, initially we were projecting to construct it at around $250 million. And then later we got, as your reporter said, moving around almost $1 billion.
For the multi-purpose?
Yes, for the multi-purpose. So these are, yes, which includes the irrigation project, which includes the solar panels, the dam itself, and all that. You get it? So that is what has been done. The contractor actually moved to site. And before you even move to site, there's the issue of the insurance, okay? Insurance is to be done, bank guarantee, and all those things are to be entered into. Do you get it? And these things all cost money, unless somebody is going to tell me that doesn't involve any money. Okay? And then two, environmental and social impact assessment was also done.
Very important.
Very important. Again, you know, the resettlement action plan was drawn. These are all matters that involve money. Okay? And so you cannot say contractor is moving to site. Even clearing of the site and getting to site, okay? And getting vehicles for the commencement of the project. All these things come at a cost. Okay. And so no government will say a contractor should move to site.
Continue.
A contractor should move to site and no mobilization is going to be given. In fact, there are some projects that come without mobilization. But this one came with a 5%
you're one faithful communicator, and also I think one of the most truthful, but importantly, one of the most eloquent and efficient communicators for the governing party. What was the intent for the contractor moving to site?
Yeah, to work.
Okay.
Yes.
So if the contractor moved to site,
good,
and now there's a visit, and before now,
yes,
we had the vice president, even back in 2020, prior to the election, say that it's one major project that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and himself have achieved for Northern Ghana.
Yes.
Shouldn't that arouse your curiosity and also raise questions, Mr. Isi?
Why? We're giving you the chronology of events. Okay, we're giving you chronology. SUD was cut late 2019, fact. By June of 2020, you know, and to about August, they've moved to site. Assessment was done. This environmental and all those assessments were done. Field work, environmental impact and resettlement action plan drawn by June 10, 2020. These things were done. And in another key thing, consultant census and socioeconomic survey, okay, which covered 2,453 households were done, okay, which involved about 15,652 people within the enclave, okay. That was also done. And these things come at a cost, okay. Poles were, you know, the type A poles were, you know, planted there to demarcate the area where the dam is going to cover. These things were all done, unless, of course, my brother, the Honorable John Jinapo, is saying these things do not come at any cost to the contractor. Okay? And so these things were done. Anybody, honest person, including the Honorable Member of Parliament for the place, will admit that clearance of site was done. Okay. The contractor moved in. Right. However, you know, most of these things happened in the 2020, right? And it is a Chinese-funded project, true or false? It's a Chinese-funded project. And so, you know, in 2020, we all saw what happened, you know, difficulty. And so there was a halt, and then issues of you need to get the dam, and then the other projects come along with it and go. In fact, VRA was directly in charge. My own colleague and friend, David Pra, was the communication or PR manager for the Pwalugu project, okay? And he was updating the nation from time to time when works were going on. So some works were done. That is
by VRA?
Yes, VRA. Some works were done. Okay. Fact, brick and mortar you haven't seen yet. It's true. But before brick and mortar begin to rise, there are these things that have already,
so when
you
did
know,
the contractor leave the site?
I don't have the exact time, but as of even August, 2020, they were doing some works.
The reason I'm asking you this is because,
yes.
as you know, the
Yes.
Pwalugu Multipurpose Dam project is not a project that is not known to the public. It's really
it's very known.
a well-explained project dating back from the days of Kwame Nkrumah. And then, of course, from 2013 to 18, the feasibility was completed, right? So are you saying that the money that was spent was for feasibility? Because I know that there was a component for feasibility that included Agent Development funding that. And then I have a number of friends who do agency work who did some level of marketing communication work during the feasibility period of the project. That's why I'm asking you that.
Yes, feasibility.
So which one does the government take responsibility for?
Oh no, when they moved to site, they did.
So that's where the government failed in making sure that the project was initiated.
Why did project was initiated? They did, when they went to site 2019, 2020, they did the environmental and social impact assessment again. They did it. And then they did all these things, data I'm giving you, were within those periods, the 2019, 2020 periods.
What sort of feasibility? Because you have a whole website.
Because I even told you, I even said that this thing, as far back as 1991, the concept was there. Okay, and so 2013,
I'm asking
they came back
question.
to it.
So if you can relate to the question and then you provide the needed answers, it brings some level of clarity. Because I'm saying that, and I'm saying this as somebody who has been in the media space for a pretty long time.
Of course.
The project is not new to the media. It's also new to the stakeholders. So I'm asking you, when the contractors moved to site, what was the 12 million that has been paid up to date used for?
Oh, I've given you a lot of them.
You have agreed that the feasibility ended 2018.
Yes.
So
but
it means that the feasibility has been paid for, catered for already.
So
I'm saying that
French
the 12
company,
million,
yes.
What was it used for, Mr. Isi?
I've stated them. I told you, I gave you date in 2020. Okay? They did this environmental assessment again. Environmental and social impact assessment was done. Then
after it had been done and sponsored by the Agent Development partners.
Yes, when they came, because of recency. Recency is important.
Seriously?
Okay, yes. It's there. Read the report. It's there. VRA report is there. I've gone through it. Okay, so read it. When they moved, and again the insurance thing, the bank guarantee, and all that, and then mobilizing to site. I told you, vehicle procurement and co. So when you give them the mobilization, definitely the contractor is going to use some of these for that, and then the planting of poles to get the place properly assessed and mapped out. You get it. So these are things that were done within the 2020 period. You get it. So these are things that we need to look at. I don't think the mobilization was wasted, and the contractor was doing his work. And if funds do not come because China, our bilateral partner, okay, who was funding it, and because along the line we had to stop our bilateral loans payments and co. And some of the implications that come with this is that some of the releases they give you as bilateral partners and co is stopped. Okay. As we speak, Ghana continues to pay its multilateral debts. People say with frozen debt payments, that's not completely factual. But the bilateral ones,
which money did we use to pay that 12 million?
The
GOG fund.
Oh yeah, it's a GOG listed. Yeah, so, but we had Sino Hydro and their partners, funding this project. So I wouldn't sit here and say that commitment was wasted. No. A lot of work was done, and that's what we have seen. Unfortunately, they've not complained. What I thought the minority should be bothered about, when I get my second bite, I'll be touching on it, which is the Saglame project. You get it? That one, no, we will talk about. They should be angry about that.
From the responses of George Ayisi, he says that the minority has no business raising questions and calling for a probe into what and such amount being paid and however it's been paid because it's been used.
First of all, it's a lie that environmental and social impact assessment was done again by this government. The man who undertook the environmental and social impact assessment and all consultations was Professor David Miller. He's been speaking. and he stated emphatically that after his works had concluded, payment was made to him. And the payment that was made to him was not part of this $12 million we are speaking about. That is the man who undertook this entire consultations, environmental and social impact assessments, and all technical things that were done from 2013 to 2018 before the contractor finally moved to site. And so that is a lie by George Ayisi. Secondly, he says there's mobilization. Can I make my point, please? He says mobilization was paid to the contractor. And so that 12 million was some sort of mobilization. Maybe he hasn't read the report, or maybe he simply doesn't know what he's talking about. But the Auditor General's report has stated that final payment, look, we are not daft, please. We are not daft. We read and we understand. Roland, you have read budgets, you have read the Auditor General's reports. The Auditor General will indicate mobilization if it's mobilization. He says this is final payment. Listen, for the construction of the Pwalugu irrigation dam. So you can sit and deceive yourself and misconstrue your own understanding to this particular text written here. But this has got nothing to do with the poles, the rivers, or whatever you said they had done there, or blocks, or whatever they had brought there. Look, I am passionate about this project because George can sit here and laugh and tickle himself and make fun. He is not from the north. My father and mother are from the northern parts of this country.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm going to prove, I'm going to determine something to you. Read this.
Final payment.
10, read the headline. 10 die as a result of the Bagre Dam spillage. Read this. As we go on, there's no time. 4 die as a result of the Bagre Dam spillage. Read this.
And you didn't do
2
anything
die.
about it.
Can you please manage yourself, please? Please.
Please, today let's be very respectful. Ekola called and was complaining that when we don't give each other time. So
I have already stated that he doesn't know my pain. And I'm showing you these things for you to understand the impact of our discussions here. Roland, as we sit here, and as George reluctantly laughs, my brothers and sisters up north are waiting for June, July. You know what's going to happen?
Why?
They are going to spill the Bagre Dam again.
Okay, yeah.
And we are going to lose many lives again, maybe. Every year.
We actually put it on an annual calendar.
That's what I'm talking about. So you see, this is not a matter to just laugh and all of that. By September, we are going to have headlines of this sort again. 2 die, 5 more die, 6 more die. And that is Dr. Baumia's backyard. If there were any project in this country that the people of the north would be, swindled off, it ought not to have been the Pwalugu Dam. And I thought that Dr. Baumia should have known better.
China.
In 2022, Dr. Baumia lied to you and I. This is it. That Pwalugu Dam project was facing financial challenges. In the same 2022, and the report I read to you was 2022. That was the Auditor General's report for 2022. Page 23. That same year, final payment for the dam was made. So where did Dr. Baumia, why did he decide to come and lie to us this way? 2022, look at the date, 3rd November. By which time all payments had been made already, Dr. Baumia was telling the people of the north that they were delayed payments and that was why the project could not start. Look, this level of corruption is entirely manslaughter.
How is that corruption?
No one is able to account for these funds. I was on the site, and let me ask George, have you been to the site before?
Yes.
Have you been there? Of recent times, when did you go there? I visited Kurugu. The chief of the place literally came out and asked himself whether he was still standing on the soils of Kurugu, because he had heard his son, Alhaji Baumia, lying on radio that they had constructed, and that was one of their signature projects in the north. Till date, the chief of Pwalugu does not even believe that he still lives in Pwalugu, because the Pwalugu he lives in has not even seen a swimming pool, not to talk of a dam. Yet his brother, his son, Alhaji Baumia, is sitting in Accra on media houses and shouting the Pwalugu Dam is their signature project and what have you. Look, Roland, I'm passionate that whenever a son of the North gets an opportunity, you shouldn't be found leading troops to steal, to, divert our funds, to misappropriate funds that were intended to construct a meaningful dam that would divert at least water from the Bagre Dam.
Misappropriation. Look, because it cannot be accounted for.
Absolutely. In Bipe, as it stands now, some houses are still submerged in water. As it stands now. If you follow the Volta to the northern region, houses are still submerged. In the northeast region, as early as last year, Dr. Bawumia's people were on the roads, sleeping on the streets because they had spilled the dam and it had entered their homes. When I got to Pwalugu Roland, I looked at the young ladies and the young boys and girls playing there. And all I could say to myself was, September is coming, as usual. For you to leave your homes and sleep on the streets, sleep wherever you can find yourselves and abandon your homes. This is broad daylight thievery. This is blatant fraud. This is high-level corruption.
And you're calling for investigations?
For you to have paid monies to an invisible project, a project that hasn't even commenced, led by Alhaji Bawumia, my own brother, our own son of the North, to have treated his own people. Look, George, you can, look, this Jetri and Roland, I beg you, you are laughing, I mean, like a hyena that has lost his mother. Look, control yourself and let's have a fruitful discussion.
Malik,
when
Malik,
speaking,
go on.
I allowed you.
Malik,
this,
go
the
on.
level of
just
Jetri,
minimize
it's unfortunate. You don't behave this way. You are sitting here laughing like a monkey.
When each of us were making statements, let's you know, the giggling, the cynical.
When you make certain statements that they are corruption,
you are
laughter.
There was a caller today, and I was really pained when that caller, my face was on television, and the caller was telling me that some of these interjections, cynical laughter, etc.
No. Don't make comments that elicit that.
It makes the discussion untidy. And I've had many people. You will not see this on the BBC, you will see on CNN, etc. Let's be very civil in our discussion. Just allow him to make his point, and I promise you that you have the same time and make your point. No giggling, no cynical laughter.
We were having a discussion.
Please wrap up for me.
No one interjected.
Malik, so why the investigation?
You are living in luxury in Accra here. I'm speaking about things that is dear to my people. You are enjoying. Your wife was an appointee. You are an appointee yourself.
Why the call for investigations?
And when we are speaking about people who want to lose their lives,
why the call for investigations, Malik?
We are calling for investigation into this matter.
You see the insult.
Look, can you control him?
See the insult.
What kind of attitude is this?
You allow him to be insulting on your platform.
You are laughing and make. Who has insulted anyone here? Please let me speak
what did
about
you
this.
say?
No, it's okay.
Can you allow me? Look at what he's talking about. He's setting his own questions and answering. Let me make my point.
No, Judge.
Can you allow me?
No, you don't allow insults. Look, I take exception to that.
He came to distract the program. He didn't come to discuss this. I am passionate. Look, I just showed you people who have died.
I've given you 2 minutes. Why the call for investigations?
Who are going to die.
Why the call for investigations?
How Dr. Bawumia has led the team to, corrupt, to steal from the north. Project that was meant to save lives, was meant to create electricity, was meant to create irrigation in the dry season for plants. Dr. Bawumia could not think that we, the people of the north, at least deserve better from him. And if there was anyone that should have understood the impact of this, look, in this entire project, I don't blame President Akufo-Addo, because at least he's not from the north. He doesn't know, if he's president for all, but the one who has first-hand information is Alhaji Bawumia, because it is in his region that people have been dying year-on-year basis.
Why the call for investigations then? Because he's explained what the money was used for.
The polls he's talking about, there's no poll there. They had 186 blocks on the land. They've sold that out. One trip of chipping sand, the chief said they had sold it to the assemblyman. Not a single project is on the grounds there. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And we discuss important matters like this. Look, Roland, I swear by the Almighty God, that if there is any project that will be investigated and the last man to have taken his share of that corrupt bounty will be the last man to refund the money. And I told President Mahama the other day, I said we will not use new funds to construct the Pwalugu Dam. We will use the stolen funds. Dr. Bawumia will vomit the money out. All persons who have a hand in this money.
Why do you seem to be targeting Dr. Bawumia?
That is his hometown. And he should know better.
It's a government project.
He led the sword cutting. And all monies that have been misappropriated, I am saying this passionately, will be refunded and we'll use it to construct the project.
The Bank of Ghana came to the committee, and key questions were asked because the Auditor General raised the question. And following that, discussions had been undertaken in the media. Indeed, we did that. We did a recollection of 2020 when the Vice President did say that it was a key purposeful project that was an achievement of the government. Now, we've also gone there, we've done visits, and subsequently also the minority has gone there, has also seen for themselves the state of the project. The key stakeholders being the people, the end beneficiaries, are raising questions. Movement for change, you are for Ghana. What are your own deductions from this? Money paid, 11 million, 12 million. Who should be held accountable?
So let me take this opportunity to wish your viewers a good morning. This is my first time on the show, and it's unfortunate that I should be present to see some of the negatives in our politics. You understand? One of the focus of our politics is to create a culture that allows for the disagreement and hold people who are in government accountable. So in my view, it's not just the responsibility of the minority in parliament to raise issues and attempt to hold government or the executive accountable, but it is the collective obligation of everybody who is a Ghanaian to desire to hold people we give power to accountable for their duties. Now, I followed keenly issues concerning the Pwalugu Dam, especially in terms of its focus. Its focus being one to create a hydro generating dam to aid irrigation, because we all know that one of the pertinent issues being faced by people around the area is the erratic nature of the rainfall and how it impacts their livelihoods, and most critically, people's lives. As in, when the Bagri Dam is allowed to flow, and then its impact potential on people's lives and their livelihood. And so the Bagri Dam, for all intents and purposes, is a very important dam. Indeed, my brother started his historical analysis from 1991, but it goes beyond 1991. It goes way back into the 60s. Indeed, in the 90s, what they did was a assessment of the
feasibility as part of the feasibility.
And then another one was held in 2013. I also heard His Excellency Dr. Baumia, there was sometime in 2019 or 2020, when he said on Asempa, Ekosisen, that one of the signature projects of the MPP of Nanado's government was in the construction of the Pwalugu Dam. You know, some of us, as in, don't go up north, so we trust the words of the executive, because if there's as in the most credible in any serious country, the most credible information is the information being given by the president or his vice. So we trusted what the vice told us, and so I was scandalized when I was scandalized.
You were scandalized?
Yeah, I was scandalized when first of all, during the Bank of Ghana governor's appearance at the Finance Committee,
Public Accounts
Committee, issues were raised about the supposed final payment of to the contractor in respect of the Pwalugu Dam. I was further outraged when His Excellency Dr. Bama, in one of his campaign tours, gave a statement which was in direct contradiction to what he himself said in 2020. Today, it's simple to say that when he said that the dam had been constructed in 2020, it wasn't the case, because about a few weeks ago, when he was up north, he was promising that under his watch, he was going to ensure that the dam was done. For me, there are symptoms of the lack of commitment of leadership.
Yes, a lack of commitment of leadership.
Leadership.
Whose leadership?
Leadership in general, and in particular, and to unprecedented levels, the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo and Baumia. Their lack of commitment to deliver on their promises, the promises of governance. Because beyond the Pwalugu Dam issue, you see that how the Dunso issue has been handled, and all the lies that we were told. You will speak about their lack of commitment to proper decentralization, their lack of commitment to transforming the economy, all the promises they made. You understand? And for me, what is happening with Pwalugu, and then the difficulty and the struggles of people in government to defend him, is symptomatic of one of the fundamental issues we are facing in this country. That is lack of leadership, or lack of people in power to give real leadership. Because my personal view is, as in, when you take or you make an honest assessment of everything that is happening, what is happening?
What do you mean by everything that's happening?
in this country, must I tell you, the state of the economy now, the lack of confidence of the people of Ghana in leadership, the lack of confidence of people of Ghana in the economy, the
SMLD,
as in all the issues happening, as in the lack of a basic understanding of what it means to be a public official. Because when you take the state issue, for instance, if we understand and appreciate the fact that when you're a public officer, there's a public trust created in you, and so we shouldn't even attempt to be defending issues which constitute a fundamental breach of that trust. All the issues that are happening. For me, it tells me.
Do you think having enumerated and made all these subtractions or deductions, then we need to investigate why $11 to $12 million was paid?
Certainly.
Because even the Bank of Ghana said, well, we've paid it.
Certainly. And that's what I'm saying. My disappointment is in the fact that it's just the minority calling for this investigation. Because you see, there's this culture that is in our country. The culture that seems to, or that makes members of parliament, especially those usually in the majority, or those whose party also sponsored the president, to think that it's just the duty of the minority to hold the executive accountable. So for me, it's not just the minority's duty, it's the responsibility of every Ghanaian, well-meaning Ghanaian, to hold government accountable for what is happening in Pwalugu and for all the misrule that is happening. And it is a disappointment that it has to be just the minority who are calling for this investigation. Is this the case that the majority in parliament do not or don't feel responsible in their duty to hold the executive accountable? So for me, I think the call is clear. It is critical that issues concerning Pwalugu are investigated. So at the end of the day, you aid us to explain all the things my brother George is saying, so that there's clarity on what is happening to help build the confidence of the people of Ghana in the executive.
Now, Mr. Isi, there are call for investigations. I mean, the entire project is supposed, that's the multi-purpose, the complex project.
Thank you.
That's the value chain project to benefit those upstream, downstream, along the channel. Supposed to be nearly 1 billion. This one has been paid. Investigations have been called for by minority. What's the position of government on the subject?
Well, the president said we should be citizens and not spectators, okay? And so anything that will bring illumination to public expenditure is important, okay? It's important, and so nobody is going to run away from that. The use of the word final payments, Roland, I think I've sent you something. My brother said I was lying. It's there, VRA reports, okay? So final payment. How can the payment of around $12 million, okay, of a $930 million project constitute final payment? You are the lawyer. Please, you can help me, okay? It tells you there's a concept, a stage of that commitment, which I use the word mobilization, okay? That is the only explanation that can be given by the Auditor General, because the project cost $930 million, and you were sitting here and telling me that $12 million constitute final payment of that, and that we should run with you? Please, come on. If they are calling for probe and go, I said, I ain't got no problem with that. They are citizens of Ghana. They are members of parliament. This was brought before them. They approved it, and they think certain things have not been done. I've enumerated what has been done, and if they do the valuation and it's not commensurate with what money government of Ghana released, then we can have a case to answer, right? But I am confident in my thoughts, okay, and conviction that the monies released were judiciously used. And look, I'm in the throes of affairs in Pwalugu issues. I have been excited on this platform when the Pwalugu project commenced.
You mean up to date with all the issues?
Because, you know, I'm working, you know, my area, okay? The spillage and Koda he's talking about, it directly affects us.
So you have daily reports?
I was excited that the project was going to come, and it's going to give us some respite, because we're going to collect the water.
There. So how excited are you?
No, I said I was. You get it? And so when the thing commenced, and initial commitments were made, which were judiciously used, if my brother John Jinapor thinks otherwise, okay, they can call for the probe. But I have made the argument that they should be calling for the probe into the Saglame project, okay, because $200 million was given to them to build 5,000 housing units. And they built 1,056 housing units. Do you get it?
Please.
That is
we came here to discuss
not value for money. They should know. They are being citizens, right? Why?
Mr. Isi, please.
We need to make comparative analysis. In research, we do that.
Mr. Isi, let's have a nice discussion. And I think that we set the tone. And in between, there was these exchanges.
Yes.
And so I would require the cooperation of all of you. Our words should be decent.
That's why we are here.
But also, let's stay on the subject.
Somebody used that somebody lives like a monkey.
Okay.
And you were okay with it.
So now let's come back to the subject of discussion, which is the Pwalugu Dam.
No, I need to make my comparative analysis.
Now,
people are calling that there's not been judicial use of money.
The call for
in
investigations
and I'm telling you, call for
have
that.
now become the call that is at the discussion table.
Good.
How does the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, intend doing about $12 or $11 million paid for this project, for which during a visit, even before the visit we went there, nothing doesn't show the quantum of the amount that has been paid for the work that is supposed to be seen on the site? So
the things I enumerated, they are immaterial, inconsequential in project management. Is that what you're saying? In project execution and management, it's not material. Insurance, bank guarantees and co are not relevant in the scheme. Is that what you're saying? Okay, the clearance, planting of poles and co.
You think the Auditor General doesn't know that? Are you saying the Auditor General is incompetent to...
No, he is put his report there. When they call you for audit meeting, don't they? They do that, okay? So he'll give you explanation. If he's not satisfied, that's a different matter. And Parliament is clothed with the authority to say, let's investigate matters. I'm not going to take that away from them, okay? That's why I say they are citizens.
Are you saying that the Auditor General, which is an office established per our Constitution, and has brought out a number of tremendous reports that have become the subject of societal discussion, doesn't have its act right, the right personnel to make these deductions that these are for feasibility, etc. And so we'll come to a conclusion in this report, which will be a subject of discussion when it appeared before the Public Accounts Committee?
Well, I have said, as a city here, I don't understand the Auditor General's use of the word final payment for the project that costs over $930 million. 12 million being final payment. So it means it's a segment of payment, which if the Auditor General had explained that, maybe we would have all been at home with that.
When will the investigation
No, it's up to Parliament. Okay. They are calling for investigation, and I'm not begrudging them more. They have the right to do that. But I am telling you that I'm convinced that the way the monies were spent, they are legal and legitimate. Okay? So if they disagree, let them set
legal
that
and
up.
legitimate.
But we need Saglame
That's a response officially from government. You have no business, they say. Don't touch it.
1 minute of reading the Auditor General's statement would have saved all this shouting and what have you. Look, the Auditor General says final payment for the construction of the Pwalugu irrigation project. The entire $1 billion is the multipurpose dam. He doesn't understand project management. He doesn't read these things. The entire multipurpose dam consists of the irrigation project, the solar project, the hydro project, and all of. Can you stop that?
No, continue.
I'm teaching you this.
No, please.
So final. You should stop this. Look. So final.
Stop.
So final payment of the irrigation dam is not final project of the multipurpose dam. So the Auditor General was spot on when he said 162 million Ghana cedis was final payment for the irrigation project. And that project is invisible. There is nothing like an irrigation project on site there. So that's number one correction. Next time you should read it. Number two, he says monies were paid for bank guarantee. So government should pay the contractor money to go and put in his bank in order to get a bank guarantee. Bank guarantees are condition precedents to even getting the contract. Before a contract is awarded to you, you need to either have a bank guarantee or an insurance guarantee. So government does not give you money to go and set up a bank guarantee to now come and prove to them that you are financially capable of executing the tax. He does.
Now, please, I have this message from a respected lawyer, and he says, these sarcastic laughs and mimics from your guests is irritating.
I mean.
And
this is also appropriate.
Know the kind of people you bring to your set. So just allow your co-discussant to make their position. It's the mimics, they appear cynical. Okay.
No, if something tickles
let me give you 2 more minutes to wrap up.
It's always in my time. I always have to suffer this in my time, and it's a planted, but I'll go on. You see, so I've explained those 2 things to him, so he should learn them and not repeat them. The third point is that you say you were excited when the project was going to take off. Are you excited today that no project has taken off, yet monies have been paid? Are you excited?
It says for
we are discussing a matter of wickedness, blatant wickedness, stone-hearted leaders we have in this country. Bawumia, who is from Northeast, who should know better, being at the center of these dubious monies, corrupt fraud exhibited. And the Auditor General, when they asked the Bank of Ghana's governor there what the monies were used for, he couldn't say anything. He said they should ask the Auditor General. They asked the Auditor General, he said they should ask the Bank of Ghana governor. The Bank of Ghana governor says, ask Finance Minister. I don't go to inspect projects. Where is the Finance Minister? So some people have sat down, have decided to find means and ways of sharing 162 million to themselves.
You can't make that conclusion.
Chopped, I'm saying it, my integrity on the line. I'm Deputy National Communications Officer, not just anyone walking out there. Anyone should sue me if he wants to. Share these monies, a project that was supposed to benefit Alhaji Bawumia's hometown. He led the team to cut short, and today they have fraudulently duped the people of the North. What we are saying is that we are not happy as a Northern region. We are saddened that no less a person than our own brother, our own son, Alhaji Bawumia, will do this to us. And then he will come back.
Bawumia.
This is his hometown. You see, I'm deliberately not accusing President Akufo-Addo. And my reason is that this is Bawumia's hometown. This is a place he knows. This is a place he loses his own brothers and sisters. Yet he comes to stand before us again in the North, looks in our eyes and tells us that under his administration, he will construct the Pwalugu Dam. A dam you have spent the money, stolen monies, shared the monies like granite to yourselves, and nothing has been taken off. Yeah. We are pleading, and I'll conclude on this. Help us, Roland, find a way of begging Alhaji Bawumia. The stone-heartedness, the wickedness, the insensitivity towards your own people. The account say, for 8 years, you have done nothing for the people of the Northern region. Aye. This only project, you yourself sat on radio and said it's your signature project too. You have decided to fraudulently share monies, and you have decided to pay monies without any project there. Help me.
Malik,
help us beg our brother.
The Auditor General didn't say they fraudulently shared money.
Help us plead with Bawumia to soften
your
his
interpretation
heart.
of the
Yes, to soften his heart towards his own brothers and sisters. In September, Roland, I beg you, I'll land on this. Roland, I beg you. In September, people may lose their lives. I pray that all persons who have lost their lives and those who may lose their lives should continue singing in the ears of Bawumia that their lives were lost because they refused to use money for a project and they spend the monies among themselves. But it will be accounted for under the leadership of President Mahama.
Rightly, just in 2 minutes for you, because we have to go to the registration, or you can even take 3 minutes. How soon should investigation start on this? Because it looks like there seemed to be a lack of clarity in explaining why 11 or 12 million dollars was paid for a project that so far has not taken off, whether it's the Bank of Ghana or is the Auditor General who is trying to finance this.
Immediately, because at the end they paid the report of the Auditor General report, about $12 million has been paid for an irrigation dam which does not exist.
So sad.
You understand? That report, $12 million has been paid for a project which does not exist. Now, and this is happening under the watch of a leader who said when he was taking his oath of office that he's going to protect the public purse. You understand? Now we all understand that before the state pays money for projects, as in certificates must be issued that confirms that indeed the project is there.
So you say it should have been inspected.
Yeah, because it does what happens before you pay for, before they pay for roads. The presumption is that they go and inspect the road to make sure that it is done, to make sure that it meets the standards. The same thing. This is a government of a Ghana government project. You understand? Now, so before you make these huge payments, common sense dictates that you go and inspect the project, make sure that it meets the standards, then you pay. So for me, as an investigations must be done now, not just a parliamentary investigation. I think Yoko and the...
You said common sense dictate that?
Yeah. Of if George says he's bought me something that I need to pay for, certainly if it's my property and I'll make sure it's there before
common sense.
Yeah. Okay. So if the Auditor General is saying that $12 million has been paid for an irrigation dam, and there's no irrigation dam, then we must all demand that investigations are done and people who are responsible are held accountable. Yeah.
It looks like this subject has taken a lot of emotions from all of us, and
not from me.
Not from you, because you use common sense as well. So I was wondering. I think all of you are on the same line.
I'm emotional.
Heated.
Emotional.
But at the end of the day, the Bagri Dam spillage will happen.
Yes.
I think a media house, as far as I can remember, in my practice of broadcast journalism, I've always put it on my annual calendar, whether it's Accra floods, Bagri Dam spillage, and even sometimes you find that your news managers will tell you, don't go and reproduce the script of last year. And so it's not a funny thing at all. Can we draw conclusions that the investigations being called for will be done not because it's the minority being the one calling for it? George.
But they're citizens, as I've said, and they are honorable members of parliament. If they have concern for a certain expenditure of government, and why not? And they call for it. And the contractor is there to respond to whatever details, commitments that were made to him. Okay. If he indeed shared the money with somebody else.
So, Mr. Isi, when would the investigations commence?
I cannot sit here and tell you that it's going to commence tomorrow or no, because they are MPs calling for it. So they know the procedure to
because at the beginning,
whether it's bipartisan.
Very much opposed to investigations.
No, I was never opposed. I told you they are citizens. That's why I cited. I quoted that. But I disagree that the monies were recklessly expended. That's what I disagreed with. Okay, and to get the irrigation project, the dam must be in place, definitely, because that's where they're going to draw the water for the irrigation. Okay, so if the dam is not there, I don't see how you're going to get the irrigation project underway. Okay, anyway,
we spent over 130 million.
And
Ghana cedis.
You know, they say Dr. Baumia, who is leading this, doesn't care about the northern brothers and sisters. Okay. Go to 2018, October 2018. President Mahama says he didn't divert 300 million Pwalugu funds. Ghana Web is there. Okay, so he said he used the money for a project in Oti, but he cares for the people of the North. Okay, when the money committed and dedicated for that, it's been used for another one.
That, so that's why 12 million has been paid and nothing.
Oh, no, I'm saying he says Baumia, who is leading and championing the construction of the project, doesn't care about the people. Somebody who used the money meant for that for another project rather cares for.
But you do agree that feasibility was done in 2013?
Yeah, I know. I gave you the thing.
So
it was done again.
It's a government of Ghana project. You do agree? Now,
it was done again. I gave you the edits. I gave you the edits. If I had come in, there would have been insults, and nobody would have a problem with it. You get it?
Right. I'm talking. I'm not finished. Registration
yes.
Just 2 minutes.
You said
lawyer, you are a witness.
Was done by VRA from 20.
3 minutes because you wanted, and then you have come back
to him again.
No, because that's the only reason why you gave for
2 minutes. No, you gave him extra time. So it's not
2 minutes.
You said feasibility was done from 2013 to 2018. Feasibility was done. So which money did President Mahama divert again? 2018, President Mahama was no longer president. Your government was in power. And by 2018, that was when feasibility ended on the contract. So which money did he divert? Such confusion. We'll take here, whole year. I mean, clearly, he doesn't understand what he's talking about.
Who doesn't?
He doesn't. 2013 to 2018, feasibility was done. So which money was diverted? Was money even ready between 2013 and 2018? Sword was cut in 2019. So you are now telling us, and the good people of this country, that President Mama came in 2019 or 2020 to now divert your government. In 2022, it is your Vice President, Alhaji Bawumia, who sat and told everybody that the project is their signature project. What it meant was that 2020, the project was completed and was in full force, and it was their signature and legacy project. Only for us to realize that he was only lying between his teeth. No project was there. It was deserted. It was abandoned, and they had paid monies out to cronies and misappropriated funds. That is what we are discussing on this platform, and not you jumping and President Muhammad. If you want, just 1 minute. If you want to know what, can you control him? If you want to know what President Muhammad did, let me
allow him to divert.
Look at this. Let me teach you. Let me.
No.
What is George doing?
So disrespectful.
What is George doing?
No, what he's doing is, let me teach you. Let me let you get sense. What is that?
You want to support the program, please.
What is that?
Please.
Okay.
Can I, if you want to know what President Muhammad did?
Intellectually and stop these insults.
If you want to know what President Muhammad did,
use the insults.
If you go to Garu Tampani, President Muhammad.
Oh, please.
I've read a message to you. I have read a message to you about, they say your laughter is cynical, it's offensive, it's unnerving to listen to.
So I cannot laugh. When somebody makes comments.
It's untidy. Can you imagine that it's an international platform, which TV3 is, and somebody's watching from Germany, and you are not on air because I'm currently the one who has been switched on air, and then somebody is saying you're hearing. It's a bit offensive, and people have given us the feedback. Let's all respect them.
People are allowed to laugh.
If you want
what debate?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Please.
Now, if you want to know what President I'm landing on my point, please. He cannot take my time.
Just a minute.
If you want to know what President Muhammad did in the north, go to Garu Tampani. He built the Tamri irrigation dam. Today, it is serving over 12,000 people and farmlands. And those are the projects that President Muhammad used the monies of the people of this country to do. Look, let me advise. We are matured people on this platform. You are a grown man, you are older virtually than all of us. If anyone should be found misbehaving and laughing, like chuckling and just wasting our time here, it shouldn't be you. You should be the one advising us younger ones not to grow up and behave like how you are behaving today. So please, let us be disciplined and let's have a good show.
You
and
allow
stop this
him
laughter
to do these things, and when I come in, you have a problem.
Lawyer Pierre.
Can you imagine?
Dankwa.
Yeah.
So you're 2 minutes.
And discipline yourself.
Yeah. So
disrespectful.
So clearly we need an investigation now.
But immediately.
But you see, for me, what's most disappointing is the sheer lack of honesty, or the dishonesty in how the Pwalugu issue has been handled from the very top. Because you see, to have the second most powerful man of the land, the vice president, go on air and tell all of us that the project has been done. Because that's what he did in 2020. In 2020, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia said the project has been done. You understand?
It's a signature project.
Yeah, it has been done. Because in fact, beyond it being a signature project, it's a transformational project which can transform and protect the lives of the people up north. So for the second most powerful man of the land to make that emphatic statement, in fact, because you see, the president and the vice are supposed to be the most credible source of information in the land. You understand? Only for us to realize 4 years down the line that not only does the project not exist, and that 12 million USD of our monies, an economy that is on its knees, where the citizens of this country are being plunged into poverty. This economy has managed to pay 12 million USD for a project which is invisible. You understand? For me, it's what there. You understand? And for me, I think that beyond the call for investigation, the people of Ghana need to rise up. We need to rise up and we need to hold our leaders accountable, because this lack of commitment, all of us Ghanaians must rise up, because you see, this sheer lack of commitment of leadership must end.
All right. Let's have 2 minutes of your observations each of the extended registration exercise. What your overview is from the previous days, so to speak, which led to the extension.
Yeah,
just 2 minutes.
It's good. I know why my other colleagues are incensed about Dr. Bawumia. He's their nemesis, so it's understandable. And this registration has a correlation with what's going to happen in December. I am in full support of the Electoral Commission's decision to extend it, because I listened to them earlier saying they were not going to extend, and I said no, it will not be fair. You know why? Because the first 2 days had challenges. Everybody, observed that the systems being down, the codes not being, released on time, and all that inconveniences. And we saw the queue across the country. People were stranded. Okay, and so as a very objective body, I thought they would have done that assessment. If you do the assessment, you gave about how many days? 21 days for the registration, and 2 days obviously had challenges, okay? And so you cannot discount that and conclude that, yes, in the latter days, reports were that the numbers were not that up. Okay, but definitely some people, because of that frustration, would have decided, let me go relax. You get it? So once they give that opportunity of extension for 2 days, I think it's a good decision by the Electoral Commission. The young people who have turned 18 will get the opportunity to go and register and then be part of our democratic process. Universal adult suffrage. You decide who leads you, and this is a good one. I commend the Electoral Commission for listening.
If it was not extended, that would have been okay too, right?
Well, it would depend, because the numbers, you get it. But I'm happy.
Based on the targets.
Yes, the targets.
2 minutes for you.
I'm happy they extended.
Your own observations as a political party, but also as a national officer of the party, going around and interacting.
The fact of the matter is that I want as many qualified Ghanaians as possible to get registered. And so no matter how it's going to take us to get all qualified persons to register, I would fully be in support of it. I'll be in support of it because registration is the first step to making a decision on December 7th. I'll be in support of it because anyone who is going out there to register is registering in frustration, in hunger, and in hardships. And if that hardship and hunger is going to reflect, if their pockets are going to reflect on the ballot paper, I am certain that President Mahama will be the next president of the Republic of Ghana. And so we are out there to monitor. We are not just monitoring, but we are monitoring people who have heard of our superior record of a 24-hour economy. We are monitoring young people register who have heard of President Mahama's luxurious policies of completing abandoned projects. We are watching and monitoring people who have listened to President Mahama's projects on farming, on mining, and all the juicy projects such as a women's bank. We will continue to monitor them and will ensure that they get their names onto the register, because that step will bring President Mahama into power, and that step will give them jobs and livelihoods under a 24-hour economy when President Mahama becomes president.
So I stand on all forces with my brothers here in commending the EC for extending the time for the registration. It makes sense that having had all those issues in the first 2 days, they would extend time and give Ghanaians, as in the young Ghanaians who haven't registered, or anybody who hasn't had the opportunity of registering to do so, to grant them the opportunity of taking part in the elections come 7th December 2024. And an election, I have no doubt that the people of Ghana will vote for a revolutionary change and vote for Honorable and John Kojo Chairman to bring about the great transformational plan.
All right, so let me just take a couple of your comments as well.
I just want to draw the curtains on this matter.
Which one?
Look at that. As much as possible, when we get opportunities of this sort on platforms like this, let's be decorous. Let's be disciplined in our conversations. If I come and sit here and I decide to start laughing like a techie and making all sorts of giggling, you will not be happy with me. So I expect that we know better. People are enjoying. People are in luxury. You, like I said, Mr. EC, you are an appointee, your wife is an appointee, family and friends started from your bedroom. But if you are happy,
no, but
be happy in your bedroom.
But you cannot say your co-panelist laughs like a techie.
No, I didn't say him.
No,
I said I used myself. I said if I come and sit here and I laugh like a techie, you will not be happy with me.
All right.
So I expect that we become decorous and educate and speak to the people who are watching us.
Alfred Odu says, Mr. EC,
well prepared and researched.
Your laughter, Mr. EC, your laughter is power affluence. And then we have New Boy Jefferson who says, Lawyer Kia Dankwa, today, you are bastardizing Dr. Baumene Kufuado, but your submissions have been on point. Investigations are needed. And then Nelson Akotia also says, Malik, why did you use the example of Techie? And
It's so disrespectful.
we have Adolf Mate is saying that investigations are really needed. Samuel Amwabing says, let's bring panelists who will ensure that all of us get educated, not those who will be interactive. We can make comments and listen to one another and then rebut. Okay. Okay. Amama Gold also send us messages as well. Now let's just a couple of them. Please, I'm reading messages. Even to the point I'm reading messages.
Now interjecting you.
Okay. All right. So let me just read a couple more messages I have. I have this one from Alhaji Kupsin Kapsin says, let Mr. George AC know that equalization and comparison cannot work, which is why the matter of the Saglemi, the public officers who were involved, are in court answering questions, even though 1,550 structures have been left to rot. And these comparisons for a project that is already on site, which should have been continued by a government, being compared to a payment made for which nothing can be seen on the ground, for which a whole Auditor General raised questions and was having the Bank of Ghana governor fumbling. Okay, and then this one also from Cynthia from Kaswa says, Ronan, please kindly ask this government for us when they come to power to help us also be rich like the way they are rich. I have this one from Master Planner Junior Kintampo. Malik Basintali should stop being hypocritical. Under the administration in 2010, 18 people as a result of the floods. In 2011, 11 people died as well. 2015, 10 people died as well. In all these years, the people of the North never had Malik even cough. Today, because his party is in opposition, he wants to ride on the emotions of the North, and he's speaking like he's from the heavens. All right. And then Kwesi Mensah says, you can never do this on BBC, CNN, and even on TV3, because TV3 is considered a station. It is listened to. I am listening to you here in New York, Kwesi Mensah. All right.
Station of the nation.
Sampi Yali says, Mr. George AC, environmental impact assessment and all these things you are talking about do not constitute final payment. Why do you think you can wake up to tell us this every morning? Sagleme, use 200 million for Sagleme. MPP used 400 million for a cathedral. Roland, the best thing is to stop AEC from destroying your well-established program. So we have a couple of them as well. And all of you. And then this one is coming from lawyer Sedge, who says the Pwalugu Dam will be a test case of criminal prosecution under any government, including John Dramani Mahama. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining me this morning. Even though we could have had a better enlightened conversation on the Pwalugu Dam, because when it came to the registration, all of us were calm.
No, we're calm.
So that one, there's no.
He was insulting.
All right, so we're taking a break. We'll be right back with the latest sports.
They can't steal money this way.